Hi everyone, welcome to my kitchen, and welcome back to Cooking Show at Home. Today, we are going back to France. But this time, we are not talking about coq au vin, bouillabaisse, ratatouille, or beef bourguignon. Today, we are going straight to the pastry case, because French desserts are not just sweet things to eat after dinner. They are part of French culture, French history, and French identity. In France, pastry is almost an art form. A simple tart can be elegant. A cream puff can become a showpiece. A cookie can become a luxury gift. And a dessert made by mistake can turn into a national classic. Some French desserts are old and rustic. Some were created for royalty. Some were invented in Parisian pastry shops. Some were inspired by mountains, bicycles, and even accidents in the kitchen. So today, let's look at 10 famous French desserts, what they are, where they came from, what makes them different, and why people still love them. As always, you'll find the full list in the description below. And if you enjoy food stories, recipes, and food history from around the world, please like this video and subscribe to Cooking Show at Home. Let's begin. Let's start with one of the most recognizable French desserts in the world, the macaron. A French macaron is a small sandwich cookie made with almond flour, egg whites, and sugar. It has a smooth top, a little ruffled edge called the foot, and a filling in the middle, usually ganache, buttercream, jam, or cream. At first glance, it looks simple, just two little cookies with filling. But anyone who has tried making macarons at home knows the truth. Macarons are not simple at all. They are famous for being delicate and a little temperamental. The egg whites have to be whipped correctly. The almond flour has to be fine. The batter has to be mixed just enough, not too little, not too much. The shells need to rest, bake, rise, form that little foot, and stay smooth on top. One small mistake, and instead of elegant Parisian macarons, you get cracked cookies, hollow shells, or flat little pancakes. That is part of their charm. The macaron also has a more complicated history than many people realize. Today, we think of it as very French, especially very Parisian. But almond-based cookies existed in Italy before they became famous in France. The name is connected to the Italian word for a fine dough or paste. When Catherine de' Medici married the future King Henry II of France in the 16th century, Italian cooks and pastry traditions came with her to the French court. But those early macarons were not the colorful sandwich cookies we know today. They were more like simple almond biscuits. One famous story comes from the French city of Nancy, where two Carmelite nuns sold macarons during the French Revolution to support themselves. They became known as the Macaron sisters. Their macarons were still simple almond cookies, not filled sandwich cookies. The modern Parisian macaron, two shells with a creamy filling, is often connected with La Durée in Paris, where the filled version became fashionable in the 20th century. Now, here is an important point. A macaron is not the same as a macaroon. A French macaron is made with almond flour and is usually a smooth sandwich cookie. A macaroon, especially in the United States, is usually a coconut cookie, dense, chewy, rough-looking, and often dipped in chocolate. They sound almost the same, and they share some distant history, but they are very different desserts. The macaron is all about precision and elegance. The macaroon is more rustic and simple. And that is why the French macaron became a symbol of Paris pastry culture. Small, beautiful, delicate, expensive, and just a little difficult. Number 2. Mille-feuille, the dessert of 1,000 layers. Next is the mille-feuille. The name literally means 1,000 leaves or 1,000 sheets. And when you look at the dessert, you understand why. A classic mille-feuille is made with crisp layers of puff pastry and pastry cream. Traditionally, there are 3 layers of pastry and 2 layers of cream. The top may be dusted with powdered sugar, covered with fondant icing, or decorated with the famous feathered chocolate pattern. The magic of a mille-feuille is texture. You have the crisp, buttery pastry, then the soft, smooth cream, then more crisp pastry, then more cream, then the top layer, which cracks slightly when you cut into it. And yes, eating it neatly is almost impossible. That is part of the experience. Mille-feuille is closely connected to the development of French puff pastry. Puff pastry itself is made by folding butter into dough again and again, creating many thin layers. When it bakes, the water in the butter turns to steam, pushing the layers apart. That is what gives puff pastry its flaky structure. In other countries, you may know a similar dessert as a Napoleon. In North America, Russia, and many parts of Eastern Europe, Napoleon cake or Napoleon pastry is very popular. But it is not always exactly the same as the French mille-feuille. Some versions are softer, some are made as a large cake, some use more layers, and some have cream that soaks into the pastry overnight. In Britain, Australia, and New Zealand, there is a related dessert called a vanilla slice or custard slice. It usually has pastry on the top and bottom, with a thick layer of custard in the middle. The French mille-feuille is more delicate and crisp. It is about contrast, brittle pastry, and smooth cream. So if someone says, "Is mille-feuille just a Napoleon?" the answer is, they are relatives, but not always the same dessert. The French version is lighter, more architectural, and usually more precise. Next, number 3. Crème Brûlée, the pleasure of breaking sugar. Now let's talk about one of the most satisfying desserts to eat, crème brûlée. Crème brûlée means burnt cream, and the basic idea is very simple. A rich baked custard, usually flavored with vanilla, topped with a thin layer of caramelized sugar. But the reason people love crème brûlée is not only the flavor, it is the moment. The spoon taps the top, crack, the hard sugar breaks. Underneath, there is cold, silky custard. That contrast, hot and cold, hard and soft, bitter caramel and sweet cream, is what makes crème brûlée unforgettable. The history of crème brûlée is a little debated. One of the earliest known recipes using the name appears in a French cookbook from 1691 by François Massielot. But France is not the only country with a claim to this kind of dessert. Spain has crema catalana, especially famous in Catalonia. Britain has Cambridge burnt cream, also called Trinity cream, associated with Trinity College in Cambridge. So what is the difference? French crème brûlée is usually based on cream and egg yolks, often flavored with vanilla, and baked gently in a water bath. It is rich, smooth, and elegant. Crema catalana is usually lighter, often made with milk rather than heavy cream, and flavored with cinnamon and citrus peel. It is typically cooked on the stovetop instead of baked in the oven. Cambridge burnt cream is very similar to crème brûlée, but the British version is connected to a university tradition where the college crest was sometimes branded into the sugar. So who invented it first? That is hard to say. Custards with caramelized sugar appeared in different European traditions, but the French version became the international restaurant classic. And honestly, part of its success is drama. Any dessert that gives you permission to crack a glassy sugar surface with a spoon is already halfway to being famous. Number 4. French Éclairs, the pastry you eat in a flash. The Éclair is another French classic made from choux pastry. Choux pastry is the dough that puffs up in the oven and becomes hollow inside. It contains butter, water or milk, flour, and eggs. Unlike many pastries, it does not rise because of yeast or baking powder. It rises because steam expands inside the dough. An éclair is long and slender. It is baked until light and hollow, then filled with pastry cream, whipped cream, or flavored cream, and glazed on top, traditionally with chocolate or coffee icing. The word éclair means flash of lightning in French. Why that name? There are a few theories. Some people say it is because the shiny glaze reflects light. Others say it is because people eat them so quickly, in a flash. Honestly, that second explanation feels believable. The modern éclair is often credited to the great French chef Marie-Antoine Carême, one of the most important figures in French culinary history. Carême helped refine and elevate pastry in the 19th century. Before the éclair, there was a similar pastry called pain à la duchesse, a choux pastry shaped long and sometimes decorated with almonds. The éclair took that idea and made it smoother, more elegant, filled with cream, and finished with glaze. Compared with other countries, the éclair has traveled very well. You can find versions in bakeries all over the world. Modern Paris pastry chefs have also turned éclairs into fashion objects. You can find flavors like yuzu, passion fruit, salted caramel, pistachio, raspberry, hazelnut, and even seasonal designs that look almost too pretty to eat. Almost. 5. Tarte au citron, the French lemon tart. Now we come to one of my personal favorites, tarte au citron, the French lemon tart. A classic tarte au citron has a crisp, buttery tart shell filled with smooth lemon cream or lemon curd. It is bright, sharp, creamy, sweet, and sour at the same time. This dessert is a perfect example of French balance. It should not taste like candy. It should not be painfully sour. It should not be overloaded with sugar. The best version has a clean lemon flavor, just enough sweetness, and a delicate crust that supports the filling without becoming heavy. The French lemon tart is often compared with American lemon meringue pie. They are related, but the feeling is different. American lemon meringue pie usually has a pie crust, a lemon filling, and a tall, fluffy meringue topping. It is more dramatic and homey. The meringue is a big part of the dessert. French tarte au citron is usually more restrained. It may have meringue, especially as tarte au citron meringue, but it does not need it. The tart can stand on its own with just the crust and lemon cream. There are also lemon tarts in Britain and Italy. But the French version is especially associated with pâtisserie technique. Clean edges, smooth filling, glossy surface, and precise texture. Au citron is that it looks simple, but every part has to be right. If the crust is too thick, the tart feels heavy. If the lemon filling is too sweet, it loses its bite. If it is too sour, it becomes harsh. But when it is done well, it is one of the most refreshing desserts in the French pastry case. 6. French profiteroles, little puffs with a big finish. Profiteroles are small, round puffs made from choux pastry, the same basic dough used for éclairs. But the shape and the experience are different. An éclair is long and elegant. A profiterole is round, cute, and usually served in groups. The puffs are baked until hollow, then filled with whipped cream, pastry cream, or ice cream. In many French restaurants, profiteroles are served with warm chocolate sauce poured over them at the table. That tableside pour is part of the joy. You see the chocolate falling over the puffs, running down the sides, softening the pastry just a little, and suddenly the dessert becomes much more dramatic. The word profiterole has been used in French cooking for centuries, but the dessert we know today developed later, especially as choux pastry became refined in French pastry kitchens. Profiteroles are very similar to what Americans call cream puffs. So what is the difference? In everyday use, they are almost cousins. Both are round choux pastries filled with cream or custard. But profiteroles in the French restaurant style are often smaller and often served with chocolate sauce, sometimes filled with ice cream. Cream puffs are often larger, filled with pastry cream or whipped cream, and dusted with powdered sugar. There are also related desserts in other countries. In Italy, bignè are small, filled pastries. In Japan, cream puffs are extremely popular and often sold in bakeries and convenience stores. But the French profiterole has a special elegance because of the combination of light pastry, cold filling, and warm sauce. It is playful, rich, and somehow still refined. 7. Mont Blanc, the dessert that looks like a mountain. Mont Blanc is one of the most visually unusual French desserts. It is made with sweetened chestnut puree, usually piped into thin strands like spaghetti or vermicelli, often over whipped cream and meringue. The name comes from Mont Blanc, the highest mountain in the Alps, because the dessert is supposed to look like a snow-covered mountain peak. It is especially popular in autumn and winter, when chestnuts feel seasonal and comforting. In Paris, Mont Blanc is strongly associated with elegant tea rooms, especially Angelina, where it became one of the signature desserts. But Mont Blanc is not only French. Italy has a very similar dessert called Monte Bianco, especially connected with alpine regions where chestnuts were important. The French and Italian versions share the same mountain inspiration and the same love of chestnut cream. So how is Mont Blanc different from other chestnut desserts? Many countries have chestnut cakes, chestnut creams, chestnut puddings, or marron glacé, candied chestnuts. But Mont Blanc is more theatrical. It is not just chestnut flavor. It is a mountain shape, a snowy look, a winter mood. The classic French version often combines three textures: crisp meringue, soft whipped cream, and dense, sweet chestnut paste. That makes it rich, very rich. This is not the light dessert you order after a huge dinner unless you are very brave. But when you are in the right mood, especially with coffee or hot chocolate, Mont Blanc feels like a little edible monument to winter.
Number 8. Paris-Brest, the dessert inspired by a bicycle race.
Now this one has one of the best origin stories in French pastry. Paris-Brest is a ring-shaped dessert made from choux pastry and filled with praline cream. The pastry is usually topped with sliced almonds and powdered sugar. Its round shape is not random. It was created in 1910 by pastry chef Louis Durand, inspired by the Paris-Brest Paris bicycle race, a long-distance cycling event between Paris and Brest in Brittany. The shape represents a bicycle wheel. So yes, one of the most famous French pastries was basically created as an edible tribute to cycling. The filling is usually praline cream, made with caramelized nuts, often hazelnuts and almonds, ground into a paste and mixed into cream. That gives Paris-Brest its deep, nutty flavor. Compared with an Éclair or Profiterole, Paris-Brest uses the same family of pastry dough, but the personality is completely different. A Paris-Brest is generous, nutty, and almost rustic, even though it is technically a refined pastry. Other countries have ring-shaped pastries, but Paris-Brest is unusual because its shape is tied to a specific sports event. That makes it very French in a charming way. 9. Tarte Tatin, the famous upside-down apple tart. Tarte Tatin is one of the great happy accident stories of French cooking. It is an upside-down apple tart. Apples are cooked with butter and sugar until caramelized, then covered with pastry and baked. After baking, the tart is flipped over, so the caramelized apples sit on top and the pastry becomes the base. What makes Tarte Tatin different from American apple pie? Apple pie is usually enclosed or topped with pastry, and the apples bake inside the crust. Tarte Tatin is more about caramelization. The apples cook directly in butter and sugar, creating deep caramel flavor. The pastry is not the main star, the apples are. It is also different from a normal French apple tart, where apple slices are arranged beautifully on top of a crust. Tarte Tatin is more rustic and dramatic. You flip it over, and there is always a small moment of suspense. Will it release cleanly? Will the apples stay in place? Will the caramel behave? That little bit of danger makes it fun. And when it works, it is one of the greatest apple desserts in the world.
And number 10. Madeleines, the little cakes that became a memory.
A Madeleine is a small sponge cake baked in a shell-shaped mold. It is light, buttery, slightly golden, and often flavored with lemon zest or vanilla. Technically, it is more of a little cake than a cookie, but many people eat it like a cookie with tea or coffee. Madeleines are associated with the Lorraine region of France. In Marcel Proust's novel In Search of Lost Time, the narrator tastes a Madeleine dipped in tea, and the flavor suddenly unlocks a flood of childhood memories. Because of that scene, the Madeleine became more than a cake. It became a symbol of memory, nostalgia, and the way food can take us back in time. Other countries have small sponge cakes too. Italy has little tea cakes. Britain has sponge fingers and fairy cakes. The United States has mini cakes and cupcakes. But Madeleines are different because of their shell shape, their delicate texture, and their cultural symbolism. So what do French desserts tell us about France? They tell us that technique matters. They tell us that beauty matters. They tell us that texture can be just as important as flavor. French desserts are famous not only because they are sweet, but because they tell stories. About royal kitchens, pastry shops, regional traditions, accidents, inventions, and everyday pleasures. And of course, this list only scratches the surface. We did not even get to Saint-Honoré, opera cake, cannelés, clafoutis, or île flottante. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to Cooking Show at Home, and share it with someone who loves food, travel, and history. Bye!